Good Friday afternoon. Wait, you're not
Hey,
where you're supposed to be.
I'm not. I just arrived in a place I'm supposed to be over the weekend.
Oh,
I
okay.
realized that I have no battery, so I cannot be on a terrace where I normally am. So I'm
Uh,
in a basement.
so and you're in a basement. Are you in
Yeah,
your mother?
exactly.
Are you in your mother's basement? No, that's not what it is.
No, that's
That's
not
a
what
whole.
it is.
That's not what it is. Okay, good. Hi, thanks for joining us here live today. My name is Darren Pope. Over here to my right, my left, your right, is Victor Farsick. We are the co-host of a podcast all called, good grief, slow down, DevOps Paradox. And on Fridays, we do the show called DevOps Paradox Live. And for the chatter that's already been going on in the comments today, or in the chat, the live chat, people are saying, okay, I got my beer. I'm waiting on my beer. I'm waiting on my water. What do you have, Victor?
I have nothing. I
You
just
have nothing.
arrived. I am completely unprepared. I
I have
literally sat down now and set this up.
I have
And now
Seagrams
I'm
today.
so annoyed that how horrible my camera is.
It's fine. It's what it is. I have Seagrams today.
Seagrams,
I
like
do. No,
gin.
it's ginger ale. Yeah,
That
that's
doesn't count.
that's as hard as I get from Seagrams. So to everybody, have a great weekend. Yeah, it's so all right. So completely unrelated and sort of breaking the fourth wall for a moment. Did you see all the Elgato announcements yesterday?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Have you already spent
I'm
your money?
actually no. I thought that I would spend all my money on Elgato. I prepared my checkbook and everything, but nothing for me. I don't have a
Yeah,
DSLR. No, whatever is the name,
yeah,
microphone, and I'm not changing my Sony ZV-1 for a webcam, no matter how
no,
much better it is than other webcams.
yeah. It is. It
But
is a good webcam.
I almost bought the webcam. I must say that kind of like I was thinking, okay, so if I buy this webcam and then I can have my real camera somewhere else and different angles and stuff like that, but then I calmed myself down.
Well, you could buy that Elgato webcam as a over-the-top like product demonstration shot if you were doing that kind of thing, or having it over the shoulder and coming back over your thing. But it's $200,
And I don't have products.
right?
I mean, they're digital.
We'll talk about this later
Maybe somebody should start sending me servers to or
to
something
start
like that.
demoing. Yeah, if but it looks like if you're in the market for a webcam and a webcam that is true 1080p and 60 frames per second, the new Elgato face cam that came out yesterday for about $200 US appears to be
Yeah,
really good. Now, one of the great things about it, I've seen some people talk about it. Some people have complained. I think it's a great idea. There's no microphone in it, so that means you still need a good microphone.
perfect.
That's
Perfect.
what it should be. It's a camera, and it's meant to be a camera. But
I mean, even if it would increase the price for only $5, I still think it wouldn't be worth it. It's
it's
every single dollar on a microphone in a webcam is a wasted dollar.
absolutely. But that's not why we're here to talk about things today. We're here to talk about things that happened during the week, and we can start off with what happened with the podcast this week. How far are you from no touch production? If you haven't listened to this, there is a link in this episode down to a Google security podcast. I recommend you go listen to this one as well. You can listen to ours first or listen to ours last. Just listen to it, but make sure you listen to this one from Google Security as well. This was a really great interview with Heather, and that episode was the basis for this episode that we did, and no touch production. You should be doing it. You should be doing actually no touch everything, right? You're muted. The words of 20. You're muted. You're still
Sorry,
muted. There we go.
I'm changing my opinion slightly on that subject. Unless you're a
Oh,
small team, right? So I understand how for small organizations, 10 people, I understand how it could be complicated to do not touch production, to do GitOps, to do everything as code and things like that. But anything beyond tiny companies, yes, absolutely.
yeah. And hopefully the tiny company would still try to get to that point as well. I mean, that
I mean,
if you
tiny
do it,
company is supposed to become a big company. That's the goal of
yeah,
every tiny company.
yeah. So again, this comes out. The podcast comes out on Wednesdays at 6 a.m. Eastern, noon CET. So that's it. I haven't even started. We've got everything ready to go for next week. We're recording a bunch next week, so we're getting a little bit ahead to get ready for Victor taking off his annual 10 weeks of vacation.
That's not going to happen. But I will be coming to close to you as in
Oh,
LA twice.
it's. Wait, is it actually closer? I believe LA is a bit closer than Barcelona, but not much. Not by much.
That's true.
Probably by about 1,000 miles closer. So anyway, I saw this cartoon this week, and we haven't talked about cartoons a whole lot, and there are quite XKCD is always a good one to follow, and then Commit Strip. But here's one from Comic Agili. I'm going to call it Agili because they have the accent on the E.
I love Agili.
If Conway's law is true, and let's assume that it is, and management drives the structuring of organizations, then management designs software architecture. This is a joke, but it's also true.
It is true.
Based on how an organization is built and is structured will determine how your software is built and structured.
Or constraints. Maybe the better wording would be management constraints software architecture, right? Or marks the direction of software architecture. So somebody designs it, but it needs to be like this.
Yeah. And I went through a few of the others that they were pretty funny, but I just like the style. I like the big circles. It's sort of like a pre-Peanuts. You know, Peanuts, Charlie Brown, Lucy, Snoopy, right? Yeah. This is sort of the precursor to Peanuts. I like the drawing style. But anyway, I thought it was pretty funny because we all like poking fun at management, but we're somewhere down this tree that is over here on this side, if that's really the tree. But anyway, we got a couple of items from JetBrains this week. This first one is the state of developer ecosystem. And this actually released today. Today is July 16th. Well, it came out yesterday. But is today really today, or was it yesterday, or is it tomorrow? Depends, right? But here's the interesting findings, and this is basically where we're going to be spending our time. JavaScript is the most popular language. I shed a tear when I read that.
Why?
Why? Not so much for the 60, not so much that you've used it in the past 12 months, that's okay, but 39% named it as their primary programming language.
Isn't that the only programming language, or variations of JavaScript? I assume that includes variations. Isn't that the only programming language for frontend, or the vast majority, right?
Vast majority, yeah.
And everything has some sort of frontend, so everybody touches JavaScript.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. I still wanted to cry, though. Python is more popular, and this is the one I didn't understand, so maybe you can explain this to me. It's their wording. So Python is more popular than Java in terms of overall usage, while Java is more popular than Python as a main language.
Yeah.
I wasn't grokking that at all.
So the first part of the sentence means that there is more organizations have Python one way or another than Java.
Okay.
While more of, if you must pick a single language, what is the most dominant language in a company, then Java wins.
Okay. That's
right. So kind of like majority of companies have Java as a dominant language, and there is Python there. So in for that single organization, both languages get a point, right?
Yeah. This next one, okay, fastest growing languages are Python. That makes sense because all of the AI, ML,
exactly,
data. Okay, so all right, Python, good. Python is Python. TypeScript, I like TypeScript. Now I was sort of bashing on JavaScript, but TypeScript is a form of JavaScript. I do like TypeScript. Kotlin, which is JetBrains language. I've seen Kotlin go a lot. But then I just sort of had to laugh. SQL is one of the top 5 fastest growing languages.
I cannot imagine that being true. I mean, that it is extremely used a lot, definitely, right?
Yeah.
But it cannot be growing.
Yeah, it didn't make
Kind of,
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. And then Go, and that's sort of explains everything. More female developers are coming to the tech industry. And this is something that I've seen over the past 10 years. Women are more likely to be involved in data analysis and machine learning or UI, UX, and less likely to work in infra, DevOps, system admin, or deployment. And that's usually what I see when I've gone into organizations. So.
That's what makes me cry when I look statistics of the YouTube channel. Because I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah.
Age and gender, female, 1.2%. So either there is some worldwide conspiracy that women do not want to come near me, or there is a very low percentage within the area that the channel is exploring, which is, Kubernetes infrastructure,
basically all of that.
DevOps type stuff. Exactly, all of that.
So it was good. I do want to go ahead and take out I'm going to cherry pick a couple of these here. The first one is 66% of the respondents now use video conferencing, up from 43. That makes sense because of the year that was 2020. The one I liked the best here, while Skype has been losing users dramatically, because Skype is Skype. Well, I think a lot of it too is, look at this as being Zoom, Teams, and Meet. We've gone from one-on-one meetings being the primary use of video conferencing to everybody on. Basically 2+, whatever that plus may be.
And Microsoft is killing Skype in favor of Microsoft Teams anyway.
Yeah.
Right?
I don't know that that's true, but hopefully they do.
But what I'm surprised still that it's 66% of respondents now use video conference.
Yeah.
I'm very surprised that 2 out of 3 people are using some form of remote communication. I would have guessed that number should have been higher.
Yeah,
do you know anybody who haven't used in 2020 some sort of video conferencing once?
Yeah, I mean, even this is a form of video conferencing if you think about it.
Yeah.
And then the last one here I want to do, actually, we'll do last two. Early 2020, before the time that was March 2020, about 70% of the developers worked from the office. Now, 80% work from home. Now, this is the scary part. That means 20% are already back in the office or never left the office. It's another thing. I'd like to know about this 20% that are in the office right now and the whys of it, and where. I'm more interested in the where, like which countries are doing this. And then the last one here, in 2020, most developers reported programming as their biggest hobby. Now, video games are the biggest hobby.
Hey, working from home means that it's so much easier to play games during working hours than it was before.
Yeah. So anyway, you can download the full State of Developer Ecosystem report. The links for everything today will be down in the description at some point this afternoon. If you're watching live, if you're watching on Saturday, they better already be there, or even after that. So links for all this will be, again, down in the description, or in the show notes. Or what is this? This is the live stream. Yeah, it'll be down in the description. This next one. This has gotten a lot of, not big press this week, but this is a big deal. Because here's the scheduled API removals for 22, which will be coming out in August. Is that right? Yeah, August.
Yeah.
So they're actually removing deprecated APIs. So if you are building a product that are dependent on some of these APIs, you better check it out.
And you know which one is going to affect people the most? The last one.
It's this last one. I'll go ahead and scroll it up and get it more center here. I think it's this one.
Yeah, exactly. There is. I know that I myself have so much code that is using not the what is now networking, right? People are going to start yelling at me soon.
But there's nothing you can do, right?
I mean, I can update the manifest.
I mean, I know you can update the manifest, but that's also going to demand that people have to run a specific version of Kubernetes or higher, right?
Yeah, but networking, KTS, IO, whatever, that's available for a while now. For a while, like a year or more.
Right. So they should be able, like 18 is going to become the minimum for your 18 or 19 will become your minimum, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So talk about unplanned work. This is, like I said, I agree that each one of these are going to be interesting. I think even the CRD one is going to be interesting.
Oh, those are, at least you're in control of Ingress, but CRDs, that will show whether you're using software that is by a vendor or community that is not really maintaining it anymore.
Yeah. And actually, I didn't even know about this one for lease. I hadn't even looked at that. I haven't seen that one pop up before.
It's rarely used directly by people.
Yeah. And the mutating webhook configuration, I think, will be another one. But again, I agree that this ingress is going to be the number one. This is, and it's one thing. The good thing about it being ingress is that's right out front, right? If it was like lease and that was buried so deep, you may not ever hit it until it's got to be buried. But now this is all the way out front. So hey, I can't do anything anymore. Oh yeah, ingress. So.
But still, I'm very happy that Kubernetes is taking this route of, hey, we deprecate and then a year later or whatever, we remove something instead of, I'm not sure what is Java doing today, but in the past, Java had that logic, we're going to maintain compatibility forever type of stuff. And that's just very damaging to the project. Remove it.
Yeah. Stefan brought this one up. CRDs will be the worst one. You just need to hope the CRDs that you installed are still maintained. Exactly.
Exactly. But it will give you an insight of which projects are you using that are dead.
But what if you'd banked your business on the ones that are now dead and you weren't aware that they were dead?
And sooner you find out that something is dead, the better.
Yeah.
And let's face it, another thing, that we're talking about a new Kubernetes release that is coming up in a month or so.
Right.
But realistically, most companies will not upgrade to 22 for a year. So there's plenty of time.
Yeah. As long as they actually read this. Because how many people are actually going through the release notes and watching for these kinds of things?
Not enough. But you do not necessarily have to read it. It's if you're testing your stuff as you should, then it will pop up, right?
Yeah.
You're going to upgrade staging cluster, and you will see that, I don't know, like ingress or doesn't work, or that application that is based on that CRD doesn't work, and you'll find it out.
Yep.
Easy way or hard way? That's the only question.
Yep. So it's like CRD. It's been around since 1.16.
Yep.
The right one to use has been around since 16, so that one's pretty good. But what's interesting, I'm going to go back to ingress here for just a second. It just came out in 19, so 9 months after the one for CRDs.
Yeah, but that one, there is the older one. I don't remember what was the API that was deprecated a while ago. So ingress exists for much longer.
Yeah.
Just that I think that was a bit of a confusion. I think that they changed the API like 3-4 times.
Yeah. Okay. So if you're in charge of apps or you're in charge of Kubernetes, there's two things to this. If you're in charge of apps that are running on Kubernetes, you need to make sure that your manifests are good. If you're in charge of Kubernetes, then you need to, what would you do? How could you help your consumers? Scan the initial installations? Is there a cluster-wide way to go out and look for these busted, soon-to-be busted things?
Yeah, I mean, if you use Sonoboy or whatever it's pronounced, it will tell you.
Okay. That's right. I forgot about that. And then KubeVela will convert. But you still have to have and rehearsing. This is a great blog post. Looks like it's got everything. And then there's more coming in 125. Let's see which ones. So 125, they're removing PSP. And then cron job, pod disruption budget. Wow.
The good news is that we are on V1 for most now.
Correct.
And that means that now it's here to stay.
Right. Okay. Just when we think we could let our guard down a little bit, right? Now we've got a lot of unplanned work to take care of. Let's see if Neil says, is it as simple as changing the API version in the manifest?
No, not always.
Not always.
That way. Like Ingress, I know for sure. I know Ingress definition itself changed quite a few times.
Right. Because there was, if you're currently using deprecated ingress class annotation, you need to switch to ingress class name field, spec, or whatever it is. So,
also, the way how you define the host and the path and quite a few things changed in Ingress.
Yeah, but if you're using this either validating webhook or mutating webhook, then it looks like it is just as simple as to change that. It's just, I guess it's just going to depend on which one it is that you've got to deal with. Basically, if it's only like 2 lines, it's probably easy. If it's a long paragraph, it's probably not that easy.
That's a good criterion.
Right, just, it may not be true, but at least for me, it's like, okay, that might be a first place to look. Okay, next up. Oh, I saw this. And you probably haven't read this yet. Victor, you need to go through and read this, and then I expect a series of videos to happen out of this.
Okay, it's a challenge, I see. What is it?
So this is automatic remediation of Kubernetes nodes. This is from Cloudflare, and very long blog post. If you can't really see the thing, it just keeps going and going and going. So they talk about existing detection and remediation solutions. So node problem detector, Drano and cluster autoscaler, cured, cluster API, proof of concept of how to make sure that this is good, blah, blah, blah. And now they've introduced a really weird name, Skyro. I can't even say it. I don't.
Yeah.
Okay. So basically, instead of having to piece everything together, like what we're just looking at up here, there's now one solution that does all the things. Synchronize Kubernetes node conditions with currently firing alerts and Alert Manager. Done. So whatever that means, but if you're in charge of maintaining a cluster, see, this is where, if you're using what's GKE's auto thing now?
Autopilot?
Autopilot, right? You're not going to worry about this. This is for people that are actually managing real nodes. If you're using EKS managed nodes, you don't care about this. If you're self-managing nodes, you probably would care about this. So Cloudflare has dropped in something to basically say automatic node remediation to action 571 nodes. Holy cow. Saved. I like this sentence here. This has saved our humans a considerable amount of time. Isn't that what we want to do?
Exactly. I mean, enable saving time on tasks like this, like that means that you have more time to work on what matters.
Yep. And I like this too. we've been able to reduce the time to repair for some issues as automatic remediation can act as at all times of the day. I'm going to put in there and night with a faster response time because it's found. What I wonder though is, are they just fixing it and not exporting? Let's see here. Like, are they doing some sort of notification out of that? I don't know. Like, there should have been a ticket opened up for this, right? If it went off and auto remediated something, that should have been published somewhere. That's the word I was looking for.
Yeah. Don't know. Haven't. I mean, there are definitely notifications. You can see that that's all alert manager that you're looking at. But I need to go through the article to see what really is.
But it looks pretty interesting. Again, if you're not self-managing your nodes, it probably doesn't make that big of a difference for you. But I would imagine a lot of people haven't gone down the fully managed route yet. So
please start naming products in a way that we can pronounce.
Pronounce it. Please.
This will be forever known as Squirrel project, no?
That's why I'm going to have to call it Squirrel because I can't figure... I mean, I don't even know what this even stands for. I mean, it's not even an acronym because they didn't like say... I don't know. We don't know anybody at Cloudflare, do we? I would like to figure out what this is and say it. I want to give them their due, but I can't figure out how to say it.
Okay, got it. It is a squirrel in Esperanto.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, since I don't speak Esperanto, then it's not going to happen for me. Okay. So anyway, if you're managing, this looks pretty interesting. I liked it. This was this is a bit of fun. So obviously you love Terraform, right?
I think it's an okay tool.
Okay, it's an okay tool. I'll take okay.
You probably know why I'm saying okay. Now I'm fully Crossplane.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Yeah. But it's been out there for a while, and it is highly used. Okay, so we'll stick there. And there's always been providers to where you could order a pizza or do something. But last year, somebody wrote a Spotify provider to where you could just search Spotify. Well, now they've updated it to where you can actually use Terraform to manage your playlists. To me, that sounds like the greatest use case. Now, let me ask you this, and everybody where Victor is working, please forgive me. This is going to be a joke, so I'm setting it up this way. Can Crossplane do this? Because once Crossplane can actually manage my Spotify playlist for me, I might consider it.
You want to bet? I can drop my plans for the weekend.
If I think if you're at where I think you're at, then no, I don't want you doing this weekend. No, this was actually a pretty good article, and it was just sort of fun. And going through, how he did this. He wrote this thing last summer, then he was doing more this year, and talking about using Go Releaser. And this is a very interesting. As a developer, how did you do this? This is a great post about this. And he even talked about going from, he got it all up to 14, and then it was still good on 1. So, all right. We have to put this one up just because we can. Is there a Crossplane provider for Terraform that would do it? The answer is yes, right?
Yes, there is a Crossplane provider. There is Terraform provider for Crossplane.
Crossplane, correct. In fact,
so you could do that, yes.
You did a live stream last week on the Crossplane channel that did this, right? Was that GA or was that beta? Or it's still sort of in flux right now?
Yeah, I'm not sure what is the official status of it. But Crossplane is taking the same route like Pulumi and basically all other tools, is that it takes time until you have the same coverage as Terraform. So Terraform is a good glue, right? And just like Pulumi, for example, heavily used Terraform as that glue for the missing pieces. And I think that now it doesn't use Terraform at all, or at least it's optional, right?
Yeah, because when we had Joe on last year, Joe Duffy, he said, no, not anymore. So
Exactly.
yeah. So I thought this was a good. I mean, it was sort of funny, but at the same time, it was good information to figure out. Okay, how did this person even go about writing provider? Number one, why do you even write a provider like this? But it was. And he obviously likes Dolly Parton. That's Jolene, 9 to 5, and Islands in the Stream, along with Kenny Rogers. By the way, did you know Dolly Parton bankrolled Buffy the Vampire Slayer? That's a different conversation. Okay. Our second, if you're talking, I can't hear you. Our second thing from JetBrains, I'm still getting my head around this one. And talk about things I still can't say. I'm going to call it Kodana, just because. A code quality monitoring platform that allows you to evaluate integrity of your own code, blah, 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 blah. Here's what set it off for me. Enrich your CI/CD pipelines with all the smart features you love from JetBrains IDEs, plus project-level checks. I went, Now, it's early access. I don't know. Now, I still have a paid subscription that I pay for out of my pocket. And I haven't started playing with it yet because I just saw it. And I don't have the EAP set up on my machine. I'm running stables. But this is interesting.
It makes perfect sense, right?
Yeah.
Kind of normally what we would do traditionally, if you go back 10 years, right? We would use SonarQube for something like that.
Yep.
But that SonarQube, as far as I know, never worked with locally, or at least not really in a way that anybody wants to use it. And it makes perfect sense that you run the same checks or maybe extended checks in CI/CD pipelines, but those are the same that you're running locally.
Yep. And what they call out, and this is specifically for the CI side, they have Docker images that can be launched in CI, so completely generic. If you're using TeamCity, it's in TeamCity. Or if you're using GitHub Actions, it's also available there. That's
nice.
This looks pretty interesting. And they've got 2 linters, Clone Finder and License Audit, coming soon. So I see this, I mean, just like anything else from JetBrains, it won't be probably widely adopted, but it will be probably highly adopted within companies that use JetBrains products. And this type of product probably is not as, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm really searching for words today. Not as controversial, I guess. I keep using that word, and I don't think that's the right word to use. But I mean, everybody can see that this is a good one, whether you like TeamCity or not, whether you like their sharing platform or not. Right? This is one that I need to scan my code. Okay. And I think really here where I can use a Docker image. And in fact, I'm going to actually open this one up because this was pretty good. So you can pull the tags. And yes, thank you. And there was an example that I looked at here. No,
they're looking for it. When are companies going to start saying Docker image? It is a container image.
We need to do a podcast about that. It'll last all of 3 minutes, but we should do a podcast about that. Here's the running. This is what I was looking for. So to run it, basically you mount in a volume. Actually, you mount in 2 volumes. You mount in a source directory and an output directory, and then you run it. And if you're doing GitHub workflow, here's the dance for that. I was hoping to see the output, and I've forgotten where this was. And I imagine, yeah, it's EAP user license, third party. So it's, it will be money. Now, this is the one I didn't catch the other day. Kodana as a service. If you need to do stack analysis as a standalone cloud service, recommend using TeamCity Cloud with the plugin. Okay, that's what it is. So, and the linters are there. Clone Finder, which is already shipping. I thought I saw an example of this, or output, and I am not finding it now. PHP, Java, and Kotlin are already supported. So, and for them, that's smart, right? That's their Kotlin and Java.
That's probably the majority of their user base.
Yeah, or those 3 languages. Well, it'd be silly for them to not do Kotlin out of the box because it's their language.
Exactly.
So, all right. So I'll move on from that into a cool little logo. Peanut. Now, I didn't go back through the notes from the other week, but we talked about something about using databases for development and testing. But this service allows you to deploy databases and services for development and testing pipelines. So in this case, I have a pipeline, deploy a server, and then it would connect up to it, and then it's done.
It's kind of temporary databases.
Correct. But that way you're not stuck having to use just SQLite or something else. I love SQLite. The guy that wrote it or maintains it still lives here in my town. Very smart guy.
Oh, yeah.
Very smart guy. We had him come out to do a Java user group probably 10 years ago. It was like, how in the world? I need to see if I can get him on a podcast. That'd be another good one. Anyway, Peanut runs as a service, a standalone service though. This is the key part here. You have to run, there is a Peanut service that's keeping track of everything. Now this is the part that I didn't really completely understand. It looks like it only runs currently on Ubuntu. So that didn't really make a whole lot of sense to me. But again, I saw it, it looks cool, but...
So it's probably not really creating and destroying databases depending on what you need, but kind of using that shared service to create sub-databases. I mean, from the description, it sounds almost like similar to what vCluster is doing to your Kubernetes clusters.
Yep. So if you sort of follow this flow here, which is pretty small, let me go ahead and see if I can make it a little, it's not getting any bigger. So testing pipelines, it deploys a server, that's the request, and then it creates the host and passes it back. But then also there was another one for doing, I don't remember. I think this would be interesting to see, but I haven't figured out. But it's using an etcd cluster under the hood. Now it doesn't say Kubernetes, right? It just says etcd. So I haven't set this up yet because I'm in the middle of writing my next videos, so I haven't had time to play with this yet. But it looked interesting. The thing I liked about it, though, is, I don't know if you caught it or not. Let me go back to this screenshot here. Deploy a Redis instance for 10 minutes. This is the reason why there is this Peanut API server living out here.
Okay, so it's a controller type of thing.
Right. So like, again, it's really hard to see here, but you can see delete after 23 days, delete after 2 hours, delete after 20 minutes, or you can just leave them up. I don't know.
It sounds cool and weird at the same time. I need to try it. I'm on the edge between thinking that this is silly and this is very good.
Yep. And it's got a pretty reasonable supported service list, I think. I mean, I'm sure it doesn't have Microsoft SQL Server on it, but yeah, anything that can spin up without a license is what it looks like. So, okay, so that's Peanut. That might be a video for you as well. Who knows? This is the thing. All right, so we'll get to I'll get to my idea here. All you need is Kubernetes. When all you need is Kubernetes. This is a... Wait, before we do that, I got completely away from here. Let's see. Okay, here it is. For sure, Victor made this possible. I need to handle my Spotify list from Kubernetes with Crossplane. Make that happen. Just not this weekend. Not this
Use
weekend.
Terraform provider. That will save me from... I still have a lot of work this weekend, so use Terraform provider in Crossplane for that.
That's pretty funny. VS Code has SonarLint extension that communicates with your instance of SonarQube. Yep, I've seen that before, and it's like, I'm trying to title that podcast. Please don't say the D word. I don't remember what the D word was about, Stefan. What was it? The D word.
Yeah.
Was it database? What was the D word?
Maybe.
Somebody, Santiago or Stefan, tell me what that was supposed to be about. And I'll try to stay up closer to the chat. Sorry. Civo.
Yeah.
When all you need is Kubernetes. Why would a service provide only Kubernetes? By the way, it's sort of a joke. We have database services. We have Elasticsearch services. So this sort of makes sense, right?
Yeah, I mean, Docker. Oh, Docker.
Docker.
Yeah, exactly.
Please don't say the D word.
It's good. A D word is okay if it's on my laptop.
Yes.
There is no alternative unless you're using Linux, right? But yes, Civo to me makes a lot of sense. And this is my guess. I don't know exact strategy, but I'm guessing that they're not going after huge accounts. Kind of we're going to take customers from Azure or AWS and what's not, right? It's more for smaller accounts. Those that would typically run on DigitalOcean maybe or Linode and what's not, right? And those smaller accounts are more likely to have everything in Kubernetes. And if everything is in Kubernetes, then provided it just gives you Kubernetes. I mean, they give you VMs, but kind of to me that sounds like a bit silly. Anyways, provided that gives you only Kubernetes, if Kubernetes is all you're really using, the only platform you use, makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah. And it seemed to be pretty simple. And we're going to be talking to somebody from Civo next week. I'm not sure when that episode will come out. We'll see where that conversation goes.
Yeah, I will be doing webinar with so there is a podcast that you and me and Anais will record, and then there will be webinar on 28th as well.
28th. So we can remember to talk about that next week. Because
We'll do.
Okay, good. Now your second one was, I'm going to call this was Endgame Infinity War, right? Or is this the last Endgame movie? Right? This is everything. we're so basically what I'm saying is we're getting ready to move into phase 2 or phase 3 of Victor, because now we're done.
This video is in many ways very similar to the one I made maybe half a year ago that was called something like automation of everything or something like that, right? So I have that, I set some goal, and then to get to that goal, I have to go through many different tools and processes and stuff, and then I publish videos of those tools. Sometimes I don't, if they're completely ridiculous. And then after half a year of publishing random videos that are somehow related to it, I make a big one, right? And that's a big one. I think that this is the second, actually 3 big ones I made so far. One would be automation of everything. The second one would be that DevOps tools for 2021, something like that. And this is the third one. So don't expect a huge video in upcoming months. But it's a huge, I don't mean like kind of huge as if it's an hour long, but more like huge that this took months to prepare.
Right, because you rolled up Argo and Crossplane and KubeVela into a single video.
Yeah, but that's not the only. That's not actually the story. The story is that I went through a bunch of stuff, so it's to land on those 3, in a way, right?
Right. So if you've done 3, so that means we're getting ready to go into phase 4 of Victor.
Yes.
So.
Sometime around the end of the year, probably.
Maybe. Do you know what the phase 4 is going to be?
I have no idea.
Do you understand the phasing reference I'm saying, right? No, okay.
No,
so
I'm just guessing you say 4 because I made 3 before. I don't know.
It's part of the Marvel Universe, right? So Marvel Universe, phase 1 was all the first movies, and basically we're moving now into phase 3 or phase 4 of the Marvel Universe. Right.
Now I get you.
So that's all I'm saying. And since you said you had 3 big ones already, I'm saying now we're moving into phase 4. So that's all it says. I'm trying to use pop culture references and it's not working. but that's
No,
okay.
now that you said Marvel, I know exactly what you're talking about. You were missing a single word.
Yeah. Well, I should be able to just to say phase something, and you should understand what it is right off the top of your head without me having to tell you.
I'm pretty sure that there are probably at least 20 associations somebody can make with phase 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, like electrical and everything else. So that's not what we're talking about.
Yeah,
today.
or maybe your brain translated phase into base, and you say, "Oh, Victor is going to the third base."
And we're playing baseball now. And that's as far as you'll go into sports, I think. So, do you have another stream today? I know the past couple of Fridays you did.
No,
Nothing today.
not
Okay.
everybody's on vacation.
Okay.
I was supposed to have another stream actually after this one, but no.
Why are people taking vacation right now? It's
I don't know,
winter
it's
time.
very-
Don't they understand that?
But yeah, they should all be re-educated by going to Japan to work for a year. Over there, if you take vacations, you're allowed to take vacation, but if you take, then everybody hates you in the company.
Yep.
Because they assume that actually others had to work
To cover you.
to cover you, exactly.
Yeah.
And you need to buy presents for everybody when you come back. So hopefully you don't work in a huge company.
I know that's partially true.
No, that is true.
I know it is true, but it's also. So I should live in Japan because I don't take vacations, so it would just be normal to me. But they also work 6 days a week. Is that right? They go to school 6 days a week. They go to school 6 days a week, but not. Okay, I don't know. Anybody here living in Japan right now? We should get our favorite Japanese person on.
Koska.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should.
How have we done so many episodes of the podcast and have never talked to KK?
No, we have to do that. Drop him an email.
I don't have his email.
Ah, man.
You probably have his phone number. I don't know him. I met him once. So anyway.
Oh shoot! No, I don't have his email either. I mean, I have his email the email that I know that he's not watching anymore.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, we should. It's now things are starting to come together. By the way, if you haven't joined up in the Slack workspace yet, that's crawling down below. It'll be underneath Victor right now. And golly, I had a question for you and I forgot what it was. Yes, we need to do an episode about don't call it a Docker image anymore. We can stretch that to at least 20 minutes. I know.
Yeah.
I don't know if we can make it interesting for 20 minutes, but we can stretch it to 20 minutes.
What are the chances that we would end up with that subject? We would, if we start with that subject, nobody knows where it would end.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where it would go. Quick poll for everybody that is on with us live. Is 20 minutes long enough for a podcast, or do you like it to be 30, or do you like it to be longer than 30? It's just drop in less than 30, 30 or greater than 30. Any of those are fine. We're just trying to figure out what's the right size for everybody for listening. I have my opinions, but I want to make sure it's good for everyone listening. We like doing this for about an hour because it gives us a little bit of time. It gives Victor, time to wind down a little bit, or not really wind down. I've been up longer than you today, I believe.
Wind down, yeah.
You're starting to wind down. I'm still in the middle of the day, so I'm trying to remember. I have one more question for you, and I don't remember what it was. Have you already started? So, are you doing videos next week since you were in an undisclosed location?
Oh yeah. Definitely. That's why I was not completely enthusiastic about creating that provider for Spotify. I have 2 videos to make for this weekend.
Okay. So based on the handful of people who have answered, we've got 30 plus, I've got 30, and then 20 to 30. So I've got one of each. Somebody has to break a tie somewhere. That's okay. 30 plus. Okay. Well, I think, so with Anais on Monday, let's try to, since we're just talking about stuff anyway, let's just see how long we can talk with her. Because I think that topic's going to be interesting. Because not all of our topics are interesting. So again, sort of pulling back the curtain, sometimes I'm editing the podcast on Tuesday evening, trying to get it out for Wednesday morning. That's my fault, not your fault. But sometimes when it's shorter, it's easier for me. So we always go for at least 20. But okay. So 30-ish, 30 plus.
So it's on us, basically. We need to stop people sooner from speaking.
Yeah, because we can usually, we've sort of landed to where we finish around 30, and by the time I edit it, it ends up being about 20, between 20 and 25. So, okay, I still cannot remember what I was going to ask you, and I didn't bring my notes in with me, which was dumb. Let me look at the real notes. Oh, that's a good one. I'm going to put that one up here, Stefan. That's a good call. Have a rule of 15 minutes per person in the podcast. Yeah.
But wait. That means that's 10 minutes of the end result. Because when Darin starts chopping the audio, that becomes much smaller.
No, but as a rule of thumb, if we have 3 people on, then we should shoot for 45 minutes or so.
Yeah.
Versus us. Yeah, okay. That makes sense. For me, because I go for a walk in the morning, I walk for about almost 2 hours when it's all said and done. So I go through quite a few podcasts in the morning, except where I'm listening like I did this morning to Go Time, which was 1 hour and 25 minutes today, I think. I got lost, but there was some interesting content in there. Here we go. So when are you going to do a comparison video, I'm guessing, Santiago, to hear when a war between GitOps and secret solutions?
Okay. So comparison between Git secret solutions. I should do that. That's actually a good one. I have it on a back burner in my to-do list, and I should put it up.
Okay.
Closer to the top.
Good. All right. Since you are in an undisclosed location, and your family's probably there with you, dude, it's Santiago. That's completely okay. It's no. By the way, for people that are asking why, it's like sorry for my English. Sorry for my clicking, because I'm clicking everything backwards right now. It's fine. Since you're undisclosed, why don't we go ahead and wrap it up so you can go hang out and do the thing? And since you basically ran in to do the show, right? That's what you were saying.
I just ran into the show, exactly.
Yeah. That's...
that's the problem with... I have that desktop. I'm not using laptop anymore, and I always forget that if you leave fully charged laptop for a couple of months, that means...
It's not fully charged anymore.
It's not fully charged anymore.
Yeah, my laptop, I can get a maximum of 50% charge on it, so it lasts for about 45 minutes. So I'm plugged in. I'm tethered all the time to power. So, okay, let's go ahead and call it a day for today so Victor can go off and be a victor. And I'm going to go back to work because I'm working with Grafana and Prometheus right now.
Very nice. What, you sound unhappy?
I'm not unhappy. I'm just frustrated because it's been a while since I've done that level of detail.
Okay.
And much like the work that I did this week that's coming out next week, it was like, okay, how do I do this again? Who am I here with?
Reasoning with Prometheus query language, or whatever they call it, can be a bit challenging. Writing queries is not that trivial. I mean, it's actually not hard, but getting to understand what all those things are can take some time.
Yep. Okay. All right, everybody, we're going to head on. Thanks for joining us live here. If you were live with us today, before you leave, if you are with us live, go and give us a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed, go and click on subscribe. If you're watching the replay, thanks for hanging out with us this long. Usually Friday afternoons around 1 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. CET. What is that? Central European time? Is that what it is? Central European time.
Central European time, yeah.
Okay. Usually ballpark, that's when it is. Oh, I meant to mention this at the beginning. Next Friday, 2 things. Next Friday is my birthday. Woohoo.
Okay.
I may not be here. No, I mean,
Okay.
I'll be alive, but not. There may be, again, my sister's coming into town and we're having to deal with some stuff to help close out my mom's estate. So she's coming in on Thursday. So we might be having to deal with stuff on the house on Friday. So we may or may not have a show next Friday. just fair warning, but otherwise we will be here. That's just what it is. So to everybody that was here with us live, thank you so much for hanging out. For people watching the replay, thank you for watching till the end. And we will talk to everybody whenever we talk to you next, but be watching for that podcast coming out on Wednesday at 6 a.m. Eastern, noon CET.